Thank you for joining me today on Good News with Twanda Black, where we're discovering some of the most inspiring trials to triumph stories and empowerment moments. Call up a friend and let them know it's time for some good news. Welcome to Good News. I'm your host, Twanda Black. We talk with folks from all walks of life about their good news. Because ultimately, if your brothers and sisters are prospering and doing well and have good news, we are prospering and doing well as well. So sit back, relax, and enjoy our next guest. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Good News with Twanda Black. Introducing to you Sean Keys, who is a producer, and his company is called SmoothTunes Productions. CEO of Uncle G Records, Greg Lyons in the house, and we call him Uncle G. And artist extraordinaire. She is certainly a worshiper and a beautiful spirit inside and out. Keri Fraser joins us today. How's everybody doing?
Fantastic, doing great.
Awesome. We're going to start with Uncle G. Always a pleasure to have you on, Uncle G. Tell us about Uncle G Records and what you provide. What are the services of your record company?
First, I have to say thanks for having me, and hello to your mom, of course, and that's what you're doing. But about Uncle G Records, I like to feel that we're a independent record label that's had some success that can go up against a lot of the majors. We've had artists to go up against a bunch of the major labels. We've had success in having #1 records across various platforms, I guess you could say, and various charts. And also I provide a management service, and I also provide a radio promotion service, but also do artist media training and marketing and promotion as well.
What's your favorite kind of artist to manage, produce, to do any work with?
A lover of God, one that practices what they sings about, and a very humble person that has a great work ethic. Because a lot of times your spirit will get you places that your voice won't be able to get you in.
Better say that. That's so true. That's so true. Sean, tell us about being a producer. Oh my goodness, you have one of the toughest jobs, but one probably of the jobs that just brings you so much pleasure, especially when you hear that end product. Talk about what you do at SmoothTunes Productions.
Yeah, well, again, thanks for having me on as well. Man, I enjoy what I do. Being a producer is like, I can say I'm living my dream. It's actually what I've always wanted to do. But yeah, being a producer is a very tedious but enjoyable job. I'm, pretty much spearheading a project from giddy up to whoa, like I like to say. And I'm sure that I have the right singers on the project, the right band members, booking the right studio, coaching, the vocalist to do what I believe will make the record commercially viable for the consumer. Not only for people to listen to it on the radio, but for people to actually consume it in their personal time. So I just thank God for giving me the gift of music and allowing me to use it for him. And so that's kind of what I do. And I'm grateful to get up every morning and do it.
Can you give us some tips in studio? Say if somebody comes in and says, I have this awesome song I want to do, and then you hear it and you're like, but you need to do it this way. So give us some tips there.
Yeah, well, my process is a little different. What I always like to do especially when you're working with someone for the first time, and Pastor Keri can attest to this, is I like to have conversation. People don't talk anymore. You know, so how could I possibly build that rapport with you where you trust me no matter what I've done? You know, I can build that rapport so you can trust me. So when I do tell you, hey, I think we should take this song in this direction, you're not looking at me with a stank face. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so I try to take the time first to build a rapport with the artist, talk to them, get to know them. I'm combing over their social medias and trying to see, you know, just, you know, what they're into, what they do, you know, and then at that point, you know, just build the rapport with them so that if there's any constructive criticism when we do get in the studio, they understand that it's only about the song. It's
right. It's not about them. Right.
About you. It's about the song. So I've used that practice for a good minute now, and it's always, you know, worked out perfectly. You know, I haven't had anybody really like kind of be combative or not be receptive of what I'm trying to, you know, convey to them or actually trying to get them to do. If anything, I've heard a lot of artists say that I pull a lot of stuff out of them that they didn't think they had inside. That makes me feel really, really good, because that means that I did it right. I did it the right way. I built the rapport. You know, that I got the trust. So, you know, and, you know, God has allowed some amazing things to happen through that process, you know. So, yeah, I'm excited. That's about what
definitely a good sign of a producer, is pulling out of the artist something that they didn't even know they had. So that is awesome. That's awesome. Let's move to the beautiful Keri Fraser. Keri, we've known her for a while on the Praise Factor platform. Tell us about your artist journey, because I mean, you know, pastoring, mother, wife, and now artist. Tell us about this journey of yours.
Well, let me tell you, first of all, you know, I'm excited to be here, and I'm so honored, but it has been a journey. And I think that it's important for people to understand that part, because, you know, it didn't happen overnight. Right. It happened over time. And so it has indeed been a journey from just starting out. I think the most important thing is to have that personal relationship with God. You know, I always say, when the lights go off and the music has stopped and they turn off the fog machine, you have to have a relationship with God. And so I think it started there, and then cultivating that into worship and meeting people along the way, along the journey, like you say, meeting those people who are willing to mentor you, to coach you, to correct you, to push you. It really brings you to a place where you can really look back and thank God for what he has done. So it's been an incredible journey, and now we're in a new space, and I'm loving it.
Absolutely. Did you always want to be at this level of artistry? You know, a lot of people, God says you're local, and some people, God says you're regional, and some people, God says you just in the church or you just in your shower. But then some God says you are international. Have you always wanted to be where you're headed right now?
Well, I always knew this is where I was headed. You know, I knew from a very long time that God has really brought me to a place of an international ministry. So that was something I was very comfortable with. I embraced that word. But then, you know, it's one thing to believe the word that you've heard. It's another thing to actually do what's necessary to get there.
There you go.
Know? And so, you know, so I'm really grateful that along the way, I believe the path was directed by God to the right people at the right time. You know, one of the things that Uncle G said when we started to work together was about the timing, about it being the right time. And I think that we cannot get to the place where we start to doubt the direction that God has taken us in, because it might not happen when we thought it would. Right. But one of the things that God always does is he prepares us for what he has prepared for us. You know? And so I believe that all the while on the journey, he's been preparing me for this moment. So I'm enjoying it. moment. Yeah.
We knew the first time I saw you at Praise Factor, and you were amazing. Even the first time, but I look at your journey through Praise Factor and then going to Uncle G and looking at your trajectory, it has been nothing less than amazing. And Uncle G, talk about for a moment finding that artist that you say, hey, I think I can take this one to the next level. Talk about that.
Well, a lot of times what I really don't, without sounding arrogant, I don't go looking for artists. A lot of times it's just an organic thing that God, I call them assignments, that God will send me an assignment, and I'm just eager to work, and I'll know that it's from God. And it's funny because you know how on your social media it'll have stuff that'll pop up on your timeline from the past. And just the other day, it was funny. I saved it. I don't know if I sent it to Pastor Keri, but it was Uncle G showcase that she attended, and it was years ago.
Wow.
And that on my timeline. But again, like you said, sometimes it's not about the timing. It's not the right time. I want to, you know, take this time to shout out you and Pastor T for your grooming of Pastor Keri, because she comes, I like to call it the School of Praise Factor.
Yes.
From that school. So I know it's a lot of artists, independent artists that you guys are passionate about, and that you guys work with, and that you groom and you prepare them for the next level. But one thing about it that I like about the situation from talking to you and Pastor T, it's like, well, we've done our part and we feel we've taken them as far as we can take them.
Right.
You're okay with letting them go to move on to the next level. And I'm just very appreciative and humbled by the fact that you thought I was the person that she would be good for, because without you and Pastor T, you know, I wouldn't be working. I wouldn't be on this Zoom with Pastor Keri right now. You know, you guys groomed her. You know, I watched from afar. I watched her at the Praise Factor Awards. I've even watched her on my own showcase. But again, the timing wasn't there at that time, and she was patient. That's one of the qualities that I would add to your previous question about working with certain artists. She's a very patient person, and she's a believer. So she, you know, knows her steps were already ordered. So she didn't really rush anything. Even this past year with me, she didn't really rush me with anything or get impatient with anything. She just took her time and let the process work. So that, you know, that makes it very easy. So, you know, I don't go looking, but like I said, every once in a while, when the time is right, God is sending somebody to me, and I'll know it's God. And most of the time, it's like I said, organically, or someone that I know, just like yourself. I've been knowing you for years. You'll say, hey, I think we have something here somebody might want to pay attention to. And then you're going to take the time and I'll listen. And then, like, if I feel, just like Sean said, from conversation, if I feel in their spirit that we have the likeness of the spirit, because another thing people don't realize, is still, even though it's gospel, it's business. It's
That's right.
And we spend a lot of time, especially with me and my thing. I travel a lot with my artists. So if we don't have the same type of spirit, if we can't really connect spiritually or on a personal level, then it'd be difficult for me to work with a person, because I spend a lot of times, in some cases, I spend more time with my artists than I do with my family.
Yeah.
If we don't really get along together, if we don't have the same beliefs or the same spirit, it makes it very difficult working relationship.
Keri, I know in this last year, you've been on roller skates. You've been moving. What's that been like for you? And what's the adjustment from, you know, where you were to now, and really getting acclimated into this level?
Yeah, you know, it's been a lot about trusting God and trusting the process. You know, trusting the process. That's been very, very, very important for me. And, you know, as much as you say roller skates, and as much as God has done in the past year, I am so excited about what's coming.
Yeah,
so if we were on roller skates last year, I don't know what we're in right now. but you know something, I've had to trust the process. I've had to walk out my faith, you know, and believe that God connected me to these amazing people for a reason, you know. And so, like Uncle G said, you know, it's, you know, there's the spiritual side, but there's also the business, you
Absolutely.
know. And I believe that along the way that God has taught me so much. But one of the things I always do is I remain with a posture of learning. So every level that I go into, I'm open to hear, to learn. And so, you know, I'm excited about that.
You know, I love that about you, because we get artists who say, I've been singing 20 years and this is the way I've done it and why I need to change now. And I said, because you're going to be right where you are, because you won't learn. You're not listening. And certainly you think you know everything. So you are a learner, and we love that about you, is that you were open to everything. You know, you were open to everything, and you prayed about everything. So that's the blessing in this relationship. Now, new song coming out. What's the official release date, Uncle G?
The official release date is March the 29th, Good Friday.
All right, You Are Holy.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm jumping out my seat.
I know. So Sean, when they brought the song into the studio, what did you think, and how much work, or did you change anything? Tell me about the process of You Are Holy.
No, actually, Uncle G called me one day. He's like, "Hey, you remember Pastor Keri?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I remember from the showcase." And I was like, "Man, she's a dynamite artist, singer, and worshiper, man." You know, he's like, "Well, man, I think you know she's interested in working with you, and I want to put y'all together. So, do you have anything for her that would be, you know, something that she, you know, would like?" I said, "Well, yeah, definitely." And I had a couple of songs that I knew that would probably be really good for her, but this one in particular, I was hoping that she would pick this one because excuse me, I just felt like it would really fit her style and her voice. And so I had a song that myself and one of the worship leaders at my church, Tiffany Graham, we wrote together, and I sent it to Uncle G, and he said, "Okay, I like it. Let me send it to her and see what she says." And she just, you know, Pastor Keri loved it, and I was like, "Man, great." So you know, she called me, like, "Hey, there's one little part at the end I want to add," and the part was so infectious. I was like, "Oh yeah, we definitely got to add this, because this is something that it adds to the song, and people are just gonna be singing it over and over. It's really catchy." I was like, "Yeah, let's definitely add this to the song." So we got in the studio, and you know, I got with the band and got them together, and they tracked the stuff, and it sounded really, really good. And the background singer sounded so great. Shout out to the A-Team. They did such a phenomenal job. And my engineer, Reggie Nicholas Jr., he's amazing at what he does. So when Pastor Keri came in, excuse me, it was so easy and so seamless. She is probably one of the most prepared artists I've ever worked with. Excuse me. When I tell you, she knew what she wanted to sing for ad-libs. She had it mapped out from top to bottom. And like Uncle G was saying in one of his posts he posted on Facebook, it turned from a session to a worship experience. Yeah. Because she just really had, and I kept telling her, I'm like, "Man, you really studied this." And I love that about her, because, you know, it's a lot of times, you know, as a producer, you got to know when to really push and coach. And then sometimes you got to know when to just sit back and just let it happen.
Yeah.
And Pastor Keri was one of the ones I did a little coaching, but then it was like, okay, let me just sit back and just let it happen. And man, the passion and the energy and the worship was just, you know, it was just phenomenal. So I'm really excited about this record. I really am excited about it. And it was such an honor to work with Pastor Keri, man. It's like, she's probably one of my favorite people now to work with, you know. So she's phenomenal.
Pastor Keri, what made you choose that song?
You know, when I first heard it, and can I just say this really quickly, because you talked about a lot of times independent artists who've been doing this for a long time, and it's hard to go to the next level and kind of shed yourself of some of that so you can learn. I have been writing my music.
I know.
My career, you know
that was my next question.
I had been writing my music for as long as I had been recording. And so when Uncle G brought the song, my first thought was, this is so God focused. And you know, I'm a worshiper. And so the fact that it was so God focused, it wasn't asking God for anything. It wasn't telling him about our troubles or what the enemy was doing. It was just such a pure and intimate moment. And I really felt like that was something that was needed in the earth. And so initially when Uncle G sent the song for me to listen to, I'm like, it's a beautiful song. It's like, I want you to record. I said, me. but he wasn't having it. So here we are today.
Okay.
It was beautiful. It was a beautiful, beautiful song of worship. And, you know, that's the place where I like to be. And, you know, I believe that when you go into the studio, you're supposed to go and prepare. Right. So that was what I knew to do. I knew I was getting ready to work with people at a different level, you know, and I was not going to go into that situation unprepared, you know, not prayerful, not ready. I wanted to make sure that I was prepared for the level that God was putting me on.
Amen. 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 You are holy. You guys are going to love this song. Every choir in America is going to be singing it on Sunday morning. Wow. And yeah, you know, that to me, that's one of the biggest compliments when you go to a church and somebody is singing your song, you know. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. So we are excited about You Are Holy. And again, you said March 29th, right, Uncle G?
Yes, ma'am. And I want to add, this will be the first time, I think, in my 18 and 19 years in gospel music that I've ever released a single this fast.
Okay.
Yeah, normally I tell artists and myself, you know, from a business standpoint, I like to have at least 8 to 12 weeks at radio before I even think about releasing a song. But I think, you know, just like we were talking about timing earlier, I think in this season is the perfect timing of this particular song. And I didn't want to wait, you know, 8 weeks to do it. And I'm trusting God that is going to do what it's going to do with, you know, commercially, without the 8 week to 12 weeks prep. And since I've serviced the song, I serviced it to some Monday or Tuesday of this week, and I've gotten an overwhelming results from it, response from it, from people, you know, I mean, people that's been in radio, gospel radio for 25, 30 years, because it truly is, it's not just a song, it's a worship experience.
Exactly.
And, you know, I'm humbled by the fact that the people gravitated to it, which I knew they would, because again, I said that in the studio and I meant it. You know, funny part about Pastor Keri, which you probably know, she's so humble, but then she's so, the word I guess I use is intimidated by me when we first, and, you know, I told her, well, you can't do that. I'm just a regular person. I don't know who you think I am or whatever, but I'm just a regular person. And I like to feel I'm lighthearted, you know, I'm spirited. So I joke a lot with her. So I had to joke a lot with her to just get her out of that shell of just being so nervous when she spoke to me. Because I would imagine the first 2 or 3 months, it was almost like, talk to me. So I had to start joking with her a lot. So now she doesn't know when I'm joking or when I'm serious. Not to let her just relax. Like, that. I'm just a vessel to get the world out to hear what God has anointed you to do. I don't have a magic wand. I don't have no magical dust, anything. I just get out here and work. But like I said earlier, God sends me assignments. And this assignment, I really, 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 I want to say in front of her and in front of 2 witnesses and everybody that's listening, I am so proud of her. And again, this is my first time. And Sean, to tell you, I've never, ever released a record without at least 8 weeks, in some cases, 3 months of working radio. This will be the very first time. Like I said, I've gotten overwhelming response, and it's going to do what it's going to do because it's going to bless people. I haven't sent this record to anybody that's taken the time to listen that didn't like it.
That's right.
If this song doesn't touch you, if you don't like this song, you must be deaf.
All right.
You know,
for real.
When you know, Uncle G. When you know, you know.
And I'm not saying it from totally a musical standpoint. It's just it has an anointing on that song. It has a delivery of the song. She doesn't do any vocal acrobatics or anything like that. It's not like the music, no disrespect to Sean, it's not like the music overwhelms you, anything like that. It's just that the whole body of that work, it just brings you into worship. Yeah. And I can't wait. I couldn't sit back on this one. I can't wait for the masses to have an opportunity to have this in your playlist.
Absolutely. You are holy. Uncle G, and give everybody your social media or how they can reach Uncle G.
My website is unclegpromo.com. My Instagram is Greg Uncle G Lyons, and I think my Twitter or X is Uncle G Promo, and my Facebook is Greg Lyons.
All right, Sean.
Yeah, my website is www.iamseankeys.com, and you can get me on Facebook under Sean Keys, and on X at SmoothTunes Prod, Prod. They wouldn't let me fit the whole name in, so it stopped me at Prod. And then Instagram at The Smoothest, DASMOOTHEST. I know you're supposed to keep all of your social medias the same, but they, I guess Sean Keys is a common name, and they wouldn't let me do it. That's why I had to switch it up. So, but yeah, that's how you can reach me on social media.
Do you take new artists, or is it referral based only?
Now it's crazy because God has really allowed me to be the beginning of a lot of people's journey. I've worked with a lot of new artists, and yes, no, I work with if our visions align, and we're on the same page about what you want out of the reason you're trying to do this, and if our goals align and our visions align, yeah, absolutely, I'll pretty much work with whoever falls in that criteria.
Okay, all right. And Keri Fraser, worshiper extraordinaire, you are holy, coming to a radio station near you.
Yes.
So give us your social media.
Well, you know what? If you go to my website, www.kerifraser.com, KeriFraser, I think that's a great way for you to connect with me on all my social media platforms. And I definitely want to connect with you. I cannot wait for you to hear You Are Holy. I can't wait for you to sing it, dance to it, worship in your devotion. It's going to bless people all around the world. So I'm so excited.
Well, we are blessed. We can't wait. Thank you so much for joining us, Sean Keys, Keri Fraser, and Greg Lyons. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining me for Good News. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, you can contact me at goodnews@thepgnetwork.org. I'll see you next time for some good news. Be blessed.